Hello everybody, my name is Skit and welcome to the Q&A. Quick disclaimer, the quality of this is going to sound a little different because I got a new microphone and I'm still figuring out how to set it up. However, I did not have a new microphone earlier when I tried to record this for the first time. I came up with the genius idea of strapping my USB microphone to my controller with rubber bands, and the knocking sound it made, which I should have seen coming, was pretty awful. I'm expressioning. So I'm having to re-record these first few questions, the YouTube ones. Voice is going to sound like this until it suddenly doesn't sound like this. You might hear some like knocking or anything, just heads up, that's going to happen. Go me and my genius ideas. So, without further ado, let's get into the Q&A. I asked you guys to send me some questions over on the Discord server, which you... Pointing like that makes me look sad, hold on. I asked you guys to send me a whole bunch of questions over on Discord and on YouTube. Just side note, make sure to subscribe and join the Discord. And yeah, I got a whole bunch of questions and we're going to go through all of them. We're going through all of them. We're not missing a single one. Kicking us off, we have NickNugget9978 who asks, what are your favorite game mechanics or genres? Honestly, procedural generation and just random generation in general are some of the coolest things out there. That's one of my favorite game mechanics, and you know, as a result, I am quite fond of roguelites. However, I wouldn't say they're my favorite genre. I would say that a Metroidvania is probably my favorite genre. I haven't played many, but I absolutely fall in love with the ones I have played. So just the Ori games. It's Blade13 asks, have you ever played Pizza Tower? Yes, I have. Good game. Great game even. Incredible game even. And honestly, it was a lot of fun. Would recommend if you're into platforming. Retrobit3312 asks, Protogens or Synths? And I cannot believe you've made me decide like this. It's a tough question. It's a tough question because Protogens are really cute. I love Protogens. Well, generally, they're really cute. While Synths, on the other hand, are really cool. They're just super cool. They can be cute as well. Protogens can be cool, but like generally, that's what I've seen. And I lean a little more towards cute than I do cool. So Protogens kind of have to take the cake on that one. But I do love Synths as well. Both are amazing. Honestly, I wish I could make a species like either of those. They're super iconic and I love them both. Alright, that's all the YouTube questions, and I believe all the questions I needed to record for to make up for the audio that I screwed up. So, back to other skit. Should I point that way? Other skit. Editing me, put a cool transition in here. That was every single one of the YouTube questions, believe it or not. So it's time to move on to the Discord ones. Memekeeper2659 asks, is that a troll face? Yes, that's a troll face. I did in fact put a troll face in after I pinged everyone in Discord. RoboJelly asks, how long do you think your new game is going to be? Oh, okay. It's really hard to say because it's a puzzle game and people solve puzzles obviously at different speeds, but I'm aiming for around 2 to 3 hours. It's not going to be a very long game. You're not going to get a million hours of playtime out of it. If you do end up getting a million hours of playtime, please go touch some grass. There will be parts that obviously I want to make replayable so you can, you know, keep playing. In terms of the main story and like the actual campaign, that's only going to be 2.5 hours-ish. That's the goal anyway. We'll see what happens. It's still pretty early in development. I only have 2 levels so far, which I am changing a lot as I go. That's just how the process goes, I suppose. Sil asks, are you going to take another 9-month break? And how did I get into game development? I am not planning on taking another 9-month break. If that happens again, probably assume I'm dead, I don't know. How did I get into game development? I would always, like, as long as I can remember, wanted to make games. I think I tried to make one in, like, PowerPoint at one point because I didn't know any programming when I was probably, like, 8. I just really love video games. I got introduced to them through, I think Animal Jam was probably the first one I ever played. Goated, by the way, absolutely goated. And I just kind of fell in love with them. They're super cool, and I was like, I gotta make my own sometime. What really got me into it was one day my sister my older sister went to the library, and I was like one of those kids who doesn't like reading. I'm still one of those kids. I haven't read a book in probably years, and I don't think I should be flaunting that on the internet, but here we are. But anyway, she brought back a book for me. The book that she got was on Scratch, like could you call it a game engine? I suppose it's a game engine. The game engine Scratch, which is a very, very basic engine. It's very high level, I guess you could call it, so very easy for people to understand, but it was also very limited, so that's what got me into it. That's what got me to start making games, but it wasn't until I picked up Roblox again, which I had previously played, that I started really getting into it and trying to make big things. I never released anything on Roblox that was that good. I think the best thing was a game called Blast Zone, which I was going to remake but never ended up doing, because Roblox is also a limited engine in its own special ways, and I discovered Godot, which I currently use now, and I love it and wouldn't use anything else. I had to use Unity to put a freaking microphone on my avatar, and I hated every second of it, so I think I'm gonna stick with Godot. When am I going to make a FlutterScape 2 video? Probably never. FlutterScape 2 is a game I used to play. I actually used to try and make maps for it, because I used to build a lot on Roblox. The game is cool. The game is fun, but it's not... I don't want to say it's not noteworthy, because it's for Roblox, it's definitely really good. It's probably, I'll say, the best obby game. I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna say it's the best obby game there is on Roblox is FlutterScape 2. But it doesn't have a whole lot to talk about in terms of things I would want to make a video on, so I'm probably never going to actually make a video on it, but it is a cool game, and Crazy Blocks has been doing a great job with it. Good job. What are your favorite kinds of games to critique and review? Games where there's one specific thing I can focus on and say, this is cool. If I try to talk about the entire game, I have less time to research a whole lot more stuff. But if I can really, like, focus in on one specific aspect of the game, like I did with my last video on Beat Saber, I can, like, do proper research, I can spend more time focusing on delivering one really good analysis than a whole bunch of little, kinda half-assed ones. Zeptris asks, Lethal Company, what's your thoughts on it, and do you believe that has a positive effect for people to start secondly thinking about furries? Lethal Company, what's my thoughts on it? Amazing. I don't want to say it's a perfect game, because it has its flaws, but it is very close. It is like this close. It is so good. Like, if you haven't played Lethal Company, what are you doing, man? It is such a good game. Lethal Company, I've been obsessed with it. I've been playing it almost daily for like the past 2-3 weeks. It's insane. It is insane what one person has been able to make. Which, I gotta put it out. That's one person made that game. That's crazy. I assume you mean, do you think it's gonna, you know, make people think of furries less awfully? I hope so, because there has been a big drop in the amount of harassment. Obviously, it's still there. It's still a pretty huge issue, but it has dropped a lot. The internet has become a lot more tolerant of us, which I appreciate, guys. Thank you. But yeah, given that one of the biggest games at the moment, one that outsold Call of Duty 3, is made by just a single furry, is awesome, for one. And second of all, just puts us in a really good light. That's a good stamp on our reputation. Nice. 10 out of 10, good job, Zekas. I think it's gonna have a positive impact on the way we are viewed, and that's pretty cool. What's the origin of your username? Okay, so I can't fully remember how it happened, but I know that the first thing I did was come up with the name Skit. That was the first thing that happened. I came up with Skit. That was my persona's name. I felt like that was really me. You know, Skit's like it's a short comedic act, and I thought I was funny. I wasn't at the time. I'm a little funnier now sometimes, but at the time I definitely wasn't that funny. But I like to think of myself as being funny, and I was also pretty into acting, so Skit felt like a very me name. It still feels like a very me name. So that's what came first. Skit came first. I can't fully remember what led up to me thinking of the username LifesASkit, but I remember that I came up with it way before the first upload on this channel, which, spoiler alert, technically isn't the first upload on this channel. I've just privated a whole lot of old videos I don't want people seeing. Before this channel was, you know, LifesASkit, I had come up with the name, and I kind of just, I guess, forgot about the name for a bit. Then came the day I was like, I'm gonna get serious about game development someday. I need a name, I need a brand. I was trying to come up with all these things, but none of them were really me. Like none of them really felt like something that I would run. Like I came up with a whole bunch of names, and I was like, nah, none of these feel right. And I showed them to my friends, and my friends were like, nah, this doesn't feel right. And none of these sound like you. And then I just one day, out of the blue, remembered I came up with the name LifesASkit like a year ago, and I was like, you know what? That works. That completely works. I was a little worried about using that name because it almost sounds like I'm saying life's a joke, which it's not. Life is not a joke. Life is short. Life is funny. That's the kind of message, I suppose. I suppose I'm getting across. Life is short. Life is funny. Just gotta enjoy it. You just gotta enjoy it. Life is a skit. Bluestream asks, what's your favorite platformer game, 3D or 2D? This should come as no surprise, it's Celeste. If you've seen any of my videos, you've probably seen Celeste in there somewhere. Celeste is just beautiful, man. There is something about Celeste that just spoke to me, even though I don't really feel like I've gone through things to the same extent that the people who really resonate with the game have. The game still really hit. The writing is just beautiful, the graphics are gorgeous. It was super challenging, it was super rewarding. I'm genuinely confident in saying that Celeste is a perfect game. Like, I think for that it deserves like the 10 out of 10. Like IGN gave it a 10 out of 10, a perfect score, and that is completely deserved. Celeste is amazing. If you like platformers, play Celeste. You will not regret it. You will not regret it. It's beautiful. Pimp King asks, T. You. V? Epic 10 asks, which are you more interested in, game dev or YouTube? This depends. If I have to pick one, which I assume I do based on the question, it depends. If we're talking in a like business kind of standpoint, like what would I make a living off of? What would I prefer to make a living off of? Easily YouTube. I think YouTube is a lot easier. Not easy, to be clear, it's still hard, but it would be easier in my current position to make a living off of YouTube than it would be to do it off of game dev. And also, if you want to make a living off of game dev, you kind of need YouTube at this point, unless you're like Sega or Nintendo or something, and you could just be like, hey guys, we've got a new game, and then everyone buys it. You gotta really market yourself with game dev, which is, that's a whole thing I'm not even ready for, but we'll figure it out. If we're talking about which one I just enjoy doing more as like a hobby, that's pretty easily game development. I love making stuff. YouTube videos are fun, don't get me wrong, but I have a tendency to burn myself out and take 9-month breaks. I can easily fall down the numbers rabbit hole with YouTube, whereas with game dev, I'm just making stuff. I'm having a great time. I am making a thing. That being said, you should totally subscribe so you can see the game that I am making develop over time. I am working on a devlog, definitely. I'm not pretending I am, and then we'll work on it in the last 2 weeks before before I actually need to release something. Yeah, it's coming out in 9 months, guys. I will be releasing a devlog sometime in the near future, so subscribe. That'll be super cool. Thank you. Also, like the video while you're down there, because you're still here, so you must be enjoying it at least a little bit. What did you end up getting, McDonald? Oh, from. What did you end up getting from McDonald's after that community post? McChicken. It was a McChicken. Oh, what else was it? I know there was a McChicken. That's the main thing. McChicken. And I think it was some chili cheese bite. Have you ever eaten an olive before? No, I haven't. I have zero memories of ever eating olives, not even one. I don't know what they taste like. All I've heard is that they're shit, and now I'm too scared to try them. So no, I have never eaten an olive before in my life. Mizu, the Cyan Dragon asks, Would you try making videos of you making more horror games? Honestly, my favorite kind of videos. I would love to, actually. I would love to do more little challenges like that, especially horror game ones, because horror games is just fun. But I don't know when I'm gonna do it. It's on the table. It's 100% on the table. I really want to do, like, those challenge videos, especially the horror ones. Horror's fun. I love horror. I hate horror, but I love horror. It's a complicated relationship, you know? But yes, definitely want to do one of those in the future. Epic10 asks, thoughts on the Snick? 10 out of 10, best Pizza Tower character. T4 Musa asks, what is your meaning to life? Wow. That's a big question. That's a big question. I mean, it's kinda, as I mentioned earlier, it's kind of in the username. You know, life is short. Life is fun, it's funny, you just gotta enjoy it. At the end of the day, life for me is just about enjoying it. You gotta have fun while you still can. That's the way I look at it. Memekeeper2659 asks, do I like pizza? Yes, I do like pizza. But, you guys, you're gonna have to forgive me for this, but my absolute favorite kind of pizza, and I'm so sorry, but except I'm not, because it tastes really good. My favorite pizza's Hawaiian. I know. You can. I'm sorry. Pineapple 100% belongs on pizza. You cannot tell me otherwise. Have you ever heard of Ultrakill? If so, do you think an Ultrakill video would be a possibility? I have heard of it. I have never played it. I think it looks cool, but shooters really aren't my kind of game. I feel like I'm a bit of a black sheep for that, because a lot of people who are into gaming play at least like 1 or 2 shooter games. Everyone has heard of and at least tried Fortnite. I tried Fortnite, wasn't really for me, but I have played it. I feel like I'm a bit of a black sheep because I do not play shooters. They're just not my thing. Maybe I'm just being a bit surface level because I have heard a lot of good things about Ultrakill, so maybe I'll give it a try sometime. As it currently stands, I have not played it, so obviously I can't really make a video on it because I need to have first-hand experience. Epic10 asks, any relaxing and chill games that aren't grindy that you could recommend? Again, not really my kind of game. Chill games really aren't for me. But I will say, if you don't have Neko Atsume, it is actually really cool. I don't know if it really fits in this category, but it's the closest thing I can think of that I would recommend, so I'm just gonna go with it. Basically, you put it on your phone, you open the app, you put some stuff out, and then, you know, you close it for a bit, and then you'll come back later, and there'll just be a bunch of cats there just doing their thing. It's a really cool little game. It's not really very grindy. You just put stuff out, and then you close it, and you come back. It's cool. I would recommend it if you haven't tried it. I would say Neko Atsume is probably the closest thing I've ever played that's, you know, in the genre that you're looking for. Shadows in Space asks, what is your favorite fish species? Just singular species. You know, I don't really look at fish much. Why is this question making me think more than any of the other questions? Let's go with Boops. Boops, just because I love the name. Yep, we're going with that. That's my favorite fish. Memekeeper2659 asks, hypothetically, if we were at a gas station, what would we be eating for dinner? Sushi, of course. See, this would be funnier if I actually fully understood the reference, but I haven't seen the full video. I've just seen bits of it being edited and spliced up, so I know very little about it. Please do not kill me. Please do not kill me. Kirill10 asks, what do you use to edit your videos? I use Kden Live. It's free, it's open source. I love Voss because it's free and open source. Mizu the Cyan Dragon asks, how many in-game deaths have you witnessed? More than 3. What is your first action after getting jump scared? Fight, flight, or freeze? It is flight. It has definitely come out with Lethal Company being something I play a lot, but I will just be chilling. I'll be, you know, and then a coil head will appear around the corner. I'll just like jump in my chair. It's kind of embarrassing because most people can hear me jump because I have a bit of a noisy chair. I'm gonna be honest. I need a new one. He's a bit noisy. He doesn't know how to be quiet, but if I move like 2 inches, he makes the loudest sound you have ever heard. It is louder than when you open those I don't know what they call, put an image on screen. Smalllander asks, why are you a dog? Because dogs are cool. I mean, that's basically it. I just like dogs. They're cool. I think they're cool. I was actually considering at one point just being a cat, but I like cats' behavior, but I think dogs are cuter. So what I ended up doing was Skit is basically a cat running on dog hardware is the way to put it. He is a dog, but he acts a whole lot like a cat. And the final question to wrap it all up: what is your current favorite game? From T4 Musa. That is a great question to wrap it up. And the answer is Lethal Company. I keep bringing it up. Lethal Company. It is so good. You get the right group of people for that game, you just have a blast. I have probably been playing it a little too much lately, but it's just so much fun. Every time I'm like, you know what, maybe I'm getting a little sick of this game. Then I get on, and I just have a blast. It is so good. Seriously, play Lethal Company. I think you guys might have figured out what my next game design study is going to be on. And that is all the questions for today. So thank you to everyone who submitted a question. I want to do another one of these in the future. This is fun. I'm having a lot of fun. So if you want to be a part of the next one, you know what you should do? Join the Discord, just keep an eye on the community posts, subscribe, so you can see if they pop up again. If I do another one of these, again, I'm going to do it on both on the community post and on Discord, so if you can't get Discord, no worries, you're not missing out. I will now turn around and run off into the distance. Sayonara.